All right, welcome to Pro Wrestling with Juice, and finally watched the first hour of Dominion, which I missed last night. I did not have the correct time of the show, apparently. For some reason, I thought it started at 4:30, and I was awake, and I had woken up at about 3, coincidentally, and I was looking at my phone and saw a GIF, or GIF, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what the proper phrase is. I'm sure people will tell me in the comments. But of the Satoshi Kojima versus Shingo Takagi and from LIJ. And I was at first I didn't realize it was from Dominion. I was like, oh man, Kojima can still go. Like, why doesn't he get more love, like why is he always in the undercard, and why is he always losing unless he's against a bunch of young lions and stuff like that? And anyways, and then I was like, wait, when did this happen? And then I saw NJ Dominion. I was like, that wasn't on last year's show. So then I realized it was on, and I got up and watched it. So anyways, I missed the first 2 or 3 matches originally. Watched the show, and then went to sleep, woke up, and watched the first couple matches. And so my opinions on the show are pretty positive. Ultimately, it's another great New Japan show. It's kind of what you can expect if you love wrestling and you love the styles of New Japan. One of the things, too, before I get into some specifics of the show, I love how each character not only has a very different in-ring style, but how their characters act outside of the ring too, or pre-match and post-match. I love that. It's not like everybody's a cookie-cutter, same old thing with just a couple different moves. Like everyone has a very unique style. And I think that's one of the things that makes New Japan so interesting for me. Because, that was a 4-hour show. And it was excellent from start to finish. And I see people say all the time, WWE, Raw being 3 hours is too long, and 5-hour pay-per-view for WrestleMania is too long, and things like that. And it's not true. If you know how to mix it up and your wrestlers are unique, I don't think it's a hard watch at all. So anyways, and I was exhausted, and I made it through the whole thing, didn't fall asleep once. Now, that doesn't mean I haven't fallen asleep for a New Japan show before, but it was really, really good. So anyways, so Jon Moxley versus Shota Umino, sorry, I forgot his last name, a young lion, was pretty entertaining. The young lion started off with a nice suicide dive over the top, hit a couple good drop kicks. I felt like this was a solid match. I really enjoyed the match. It was good, even considering you had a young lion with a limited offense. You still got the message across of how Jon Moxley's going to wrestle, with his aggression and his brawling style. You know what I mean? It's really nice. The young lion got to get some offense in. He also had and all young lions are kind of like this, but he had a nice passion about him. This guy, after Excursion, I hope he comes up with a decent character, because this is one of the few young lions I've watched in the last few years that I've actually thought, and he's had some other good matches, but where I've actually thought this guy might actually be interesting, eventually. So there was that. Obviously, Moxley won. Then I can't remember the match that was right after that. Let's see. Oh, man, that was the Kojima Shingo match, I believe. And again, all I could think about was Kojima looks great. He's in great shape. I wish he was in some more, and maybe it's because I've missed so much of his career, but I remember reading about him, winning big matches and all the belts and things like that. And I wonder why he's fallen so far from grace, because I feel like seeing him against like a Tanahashi and have like an actual feud again or something like that would be pretty good. But maybe I'm wrong, and maybe he's lost a step. I don't know. He didn't seem super slow. Seems pretty good. You know, I don't know. Him and Tenzan I think has slowed down quite a bit, but and then Yuji Nagata is a little bit slower than he used to and things like that. But I feel like that would be kind of cool, just to, like, every now and then let some of these older guys do a run, like where you're like, oh my gosh, they're back to form all of a sudden. They're doing it. I think that would be interesting. But yeah, so there was that. Then there was another match before the Bullet Club versus like Tanahashi and those guys. I don't remember. Anyways, the real part of the show that stole it was the last few matches. Will Ospreay is amazing. Right now, I feel like he's got to be top 15, top 10, maybe top 5 in the world for putting on the best matches, for just being, the best wrestler in the world. I would argue right now he might even be better than Kenny Omega. Like, Ospreay's amazing right now. He's putting on great matches. He's hitting new moves, things like that. He's really good, and developing his arsenal of moves has been nice. But so I've enjoyed that. He ended up winning. Last week he won the Best of the Super Juniors. And then he came out tonight with the katana, the sword, and was still living up this dragon slaying thing, and then he won the junior heavyweight title. The thing that's kind of cool about this is I've been commenting, if he wins, he should do a Dragon Slayer shirt. Now I'm thinking something kind of like a ripoff of Seth Rollins' Kingslayer shirt or something like that. But I was thinking too, like, if you could do like a cartoon version of him mid-move, or whatever, one of his moves would be cool, and then put the Dragon Slayer moniker on there. But then he did a pose it was on Instagram. I shared it on the Facebook page, Pro Wrestling with Juice, where he's holding the trophy, he's holding the sword, and he's got his belt on. And I was like, that's it. And I commented on the Instagram, and we'll see if he responds or not. If not, whatever, no big deal. But I think that would be cool on a shirt with like Will Ospreay, Dragon Slayer, underneath it. I think that'd be awesome. Do it in black and gold. I think that would be a shirt I would want. So anyways, he won over Dragon Lee, and that was a really good match. Dragon Lee is awesome. I want to say he wrestles mostly in Mexico. But hopefully we'll see him for a long time in New Japan, because I really like him. He's pretty good. And then, let's see, what else was there? There was the Naito Ibushi match, which tonight, seeing Ibushi with the belt and, with the color of his tights and everything, I was like, this right here, Ibushi is perfect for this belt. The IWGP Intercontinental title looks great on him. It's almost like a perfect blend, a perfect match. And, I was like, man, if he could hold on to this for a while, that'd be awesome. And I love Naito. Naito's one of my favorites. But Ibushi in the match got dropped on his head on the side apron, and I don't know if it's because the timing was off or because Naito didn't really throw him. Naito kind of it was a German suplex, and they had been setting it up for like a good 20 seconds, with like clearing the reporters out, and then he was going to do it, and Ibushi blocked it, and then Naito looked again, and the reporters weren't there, and then Naito was going to do it. Well, Naito just dropped to his back. Like, there was no bridge, nothing. And Ibushi, rather than going up and over, went down with him, like, in a horizontal fashion, and, like, I don't know, like, and so his head was, like, tilted, and it smacked the apron, and it, like, twisted. It's almost like he kissed the top of his shoulder. Like, that's how much his neck and head hit and twisted on the apron. And I really thought Ibushi, well, I'm pretty sure he suffered a major concussion. But I was worried he'd break his neck. But he was fine. He kept he, like, just a minute later, he was getting kicked in the head again and, like, smacked. And, like, I was like, geez, oh, Pete's. And he didn't look like Goldberg and Undertaker, that's for sure. He finished the match, and Naito won. And, yeah, so I don't know. But anyways, and this happens to Ibushi all the time. He's always smacking his head on stuff. Like, my friend Paul was saying, like, yeah, he's got the iron dome, basically. And, I mean, he does. And his neck, like, it's cringy. But there's already stuff out there. You can see it on Twitter and stuff. If you look up NJ Dominion, hashtag NJ Dominion, you'll see the GIF and you'll see for yourself. They have it in slow motion. But that was brutal. And I'm all right with the results, because the thing about New Japan is I trust them. So, like, when guys win that I don't necessarily want to win for whatever reason, it doesn't bother me at all, you know? It's like, oh, okay, whatever. Like, New Japan just knows what they're doing all the time. But, so then you had before all this, you did have a surprise when Shibata came out and was pointing to the ramp. This is before the Dragon Lee match, and the announcer's like, oh, he's a big supporter of Dragon Lee, and they were like hyping up that it was just going to be Dragon Lee. And then it was Kenta, aka Hideo Itami, rocking the Takeover shirt. Awesome. So Kenta came out and posed in the ring, and they basically said he wanted to do the G1. So we know we're getting him in the G1, Shingo in the G1, and Jon Moxley in the G1. It's already shaping up to have some awesome matches. I can't wait to see Moxley Tanahashi, Moxley freaking Naito, Ibushi, like all these matches that you get in the G1. And it's always like just a series of dream matches. Every year you're like, oh, who do we get to see? And sometimes you get to see him for the second time or third time. But seeing Moxley, this is, being his first run in New Japan, this is going to be awesome. Like, there's so many matches I want to see. And, I could see, I hope he doesn't win it. Honestly, unless Jericho somehow wins the belt, because I would love to see Moxley Jericho at Wrestle Kingdom, 2 AEW guys. I know it's not going to happen. New Japan would be crazy to put those two in the main event at Wrestle Kingdom. And in fact, I think they're setting up a Tanahashi Jericho, sub main event dream match there. And then you're probably going to get like an Okada Ibushi or something like that, or Okada Naito or something. But see, Naito's the Intercontinental Champion again. There's time for him to lose it. But yeah, there's so many things that can happen between now and then. But anyway, so Okada Jericho then happened, and as the main event. And it was a pretty good match. Jericho can still go. I saw people complaining on Twitter about his physique, but, who cares? Dude's 40-something years old. He still can go. He still can hit all of his moves. He doesn't get tired. The match went like 30-some minutes. The ending, I saw a couple people gripe about, and I saw... actually, some people said that it was a sloppy match on Twitter. Like, 2 people I saw say that. And, I didn't think it was sloppy at all, actually. I thought it was a pretty good match. There weren't, like, any major botches. Jericho hit, like, all his signature heel things, like ringing the bell, and, taking the camera and flipping him off and all that stuff. Like, all his good heel stuff. The bell thing makes me laugh every time. Now, it's lost its effect. The first time it happened against, like, Naito, I think. I don't think it was Kenny Omega. I think it was the Naito match. I busted a gut laughing. Like, I thought it was the most hilarious thing in the world. And he's done it since then a few times. But Jericho... I was really hoping he would win. I thought it would have been so cool if he could be the heavyweight champion there and the AEW world champion at the same time. I thought that would have been awesome. And then have him lose the IWGP title at Wrestle Kingdom, or maybe even before then. And then that be his downfall with the AEW title, because then maybe he gets paranoid. Like, I could see a total character progression I was getting all hopeful for. And that's stupid. Like, why plan in your head fantasy booking for 6 months down the road when you have no control? But it's just setting unrealistic expectations. But that's just what I do. But anyway, so he lost. And The way he lost, though, was interesting. Okada never hit the Rainmaker, and he never hit the Judas Effect in the match. So I thought that was really interesting. So neither guy, like, put the other away, per se. He lost on, like, a package pin. I think he had him up on, like, a tombstone and dropped down to pin him rather than tombstone or something like that. Or power, I don't remember. But it was one of those, like, flash pinfalls, you know, where it's like, oh my gosh, he barely beat him. Like, he dropped down, was sitting on his chest, and had his legs under his arms. I can't think what that's called. But it's like a package pinfall kind of thing. And won. And Jericho, after the match, started beating him up, hit him with a chair, hit him with the Judas Effect, was going to throw him on a table. And then Tanahashi, who had been doing commentary at ringside, I think for maybe 2 matches, maybe just one, jumped over and saved him. And which obviously Okada, Tanahashi, that's how Okada became so big, is by beating Tanahashi for the title. Have had a back and forth feud for a while, for years now. So it was interesting that he saved him. I really think, though, that was to set up Jericho Tanahashi moving forward. It's not going to be anytime soon. At least I hope not. I hope they build on it, and I hope it's at least a few months away. It'd be cool if it was at the G1. That'd be really awesome, actually. Or it'd be really cool if Jericho versus Okada was at the G1. And then, you know, we get a definite winner there. But again, New Japan doesn't just throw you the matches quickly. You know, they let you linger on it and savor it and want it for a little while. That's part of what makes New Japan so appealing. So anyways, I think we'll probably get rematch down the line, and we'll get a Jericho Tanahashi match. The thing that I want to really stress here, if you don't watch New Japan, these little things like that are what make, in my opinion, wrestling really enjoyable. You know, rather than, oh, this happened on Monday Night Raw, and a week later on Monday Night Raw, you're getting some kind of retaliation. And then the following week on Monday Night Raw, you're getting another retaliation to the retaliation. You know what I mean? Like, this back and forth week to week, I don't think is the best storytelling when it comes to wrestling. Like, New Japan's going to have shows, you know, they're going to have, like, nights of 2-3 nights of wrestling, and then they're going to have, like, a week off, and then they're going to do more. And anyways, they don't give you the continuation of the storyline on every single show. Sometimes it's little subtle things, like the commentators furthering the story based on, like, Okada having a match with Ishii next week or something, you know. But rather than Jericho get involved, you'll just have Okada talking, or the announcers talking during the Okada match about how Jericho attacked him and after the match, and how Okada has to be still upset about it, and hopefully Okada doesn't have Jericho in his head during this match because he needs to be focused. Like, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. And I feel like I really wish WWE could learn some of these little things, and maybe not to the extent of New Japan, but, like, do it a little bit, you know? Don't just do the same, like, okay, we got 4 Raws before the next pay-per-view. We need 4, at minimum, 4 segments of Braun Roman Reigns between now and then. Like, you know, I think there's ways to go about it to savor it and drag it out a little bit. You don't have to rush it. You don't even have to put them in, like, in a match at that pay-per-view. It could be, like, 2 shows later, you know, or 3 shows later sometimes. Just let your announcers key in on it. Like, fans are smart, you know. We don't need constant in your face, you know. But yeah, so anyways, and I'm, you know, this is supposed to be about Dominion, not about WWE, but it's hard, you know, because, again, I've been so disenfranchised with WWE, and I really disliked their product for so long. So anyways, I just want to say, New Japan Pro Wrestling, if you love wrestling, you're tired of WWE, New Japan is a great alternative. It's $10 a month. You get New Japan World. Their shows are at, like, 3 in the morning, but you can always watch it, you know, later. Yeah, it's really good. Like last year, Dominion, Omega, and the Bucks both won the top titles in New Japan. And, you know, it's a little weird because this year they're not there. But, like, they aren't missed. Like, the show is still amazing. You know, there's still plenty of good matches and guys you look forward to. And they just introduced in the last month 2 guys with Kenta and Moxley who are, again, it's like more matches you want to see. Like, so it's amazing. It's a really good product, and I highly encourage you guys to go out and get New Japan World if you have not. At least watch for a while. You know, watch the G1. Like, watch the main shows. You know, the G1, Dominion, Wrestle Kingdom. It's worth it. It really is. It's good matches. If you don't like the longer matches that you see on, like, NXT TakeOver and WrestleMania and things like that, then maybe wrestling isn't necessarily your thing. Maybe you should just stick to action movies. I don't know. Or just stick to the WWE. But if you like storytelling and you like, you know, longer athletic contests between guys, you know, the New Japan and AEW are probably going to be your go-to shows. AEW is probably going to mix in a lot more of the entertainment aspect than New Japan, but I think it'll be a nice in-between between New Japan and WWE, personally. I'm hoping it leans more towards New Japan, though, because that's what I like. And I think they did a good job with Double or Nothing. So, anyways, that's it. This is a long video, but those are my thoughts on New Japan Dominion, which is, I think, their second biggest show of the year. The next huge thing going on, I believe, is the G1. And the G1 is great because it stems like weeks. Like, you get a big show where there's a couple huge matches over 2 nights, usually. And then they kick off the tournament, which it's round robin, so you can lose. It's kind of like points based, and so it'll go on for like 3 weeks or something like that. I've had a hard time making it through the G1 tournament in the past, just because I get so far behind pretty quick. But when I do tune in, I love everything I see. So, anyways, drop a line below, leave me your comments, like this video, and press the subscribe button if you have not yet. If you like New Japan coverage, All Elite coverage, occasional WWE news, some fantasy booking stuff. If you want to see, I'm going to be starting a All Elite Wrestling playthrough on Total Extreme Wrestling. And I'm right now, after Dominion, I'm considering a New Japan playthrough, but I don't think that would be as interesting for you guys because it would, you know, it's just it's more wrestling matches. So I don't know if the product would lend itself to being as watchable, but maybe I'll still do it. So anyways, if that sounds like stuff you're interested in, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and yeah, with that, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Take it easy, guys.